Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And today I have the Melody Beatty books with me, and I looked at the titles of both of them, and I really liked both of the titles, so I'm going to see if I can get through both of the meditations. Boo Radley just came up here. Hello, Mr. Boo Radley. Do you want to come into the video? Boo just got his groom a couple days ago, and his groom's, what do we call it? Look at him. Oh, he said, I feel so much better now. He's such a happy dog. Anyway, well, okay. He blew right into my ear. So you go back there. He's gonna, I know it. He likes to dig into the chair and get his little, he does this in his bed, he does this in his couch, or in our bed, he does this in his bed, he does this on the couch over there, he does it everywhere. So anyway, today I am going to read from the Melody Beatty books, but I wanted to say first that I know that in July and August I've been kind of hit or miss over here, and I've just been kind of taking some time to myself. Going into September, my plan is to be a lot more regular over here. It just means so much to me that you guys have consistently watch these videos, and that so many of you, like whenever I post a video, are like, oh yes, a Peterisms video, and that means so much to me, and I just want to say thank you. I love doing these videos, and honestly, some days I wake up and just time gets away from me, and I don't really have a good excuse other than that. So going into September, I'm going to try to be more structured with my time, and I will be posting over here on a more regular basis. So I just want to let you guys know that. All right, so let's get into these meditations for today. I'm just gonna start with the language of letting go first. August 30th, accepting our best. Boo Radley is accepting his best. Okay. We don't have to do it any better than we can, ever. Do our best for the moment, then let it go. If we have to redo it, we can do our best in another moment later. We can never do more or better than we are able to do at the moment. We punish ourselves and make ourselves feel crazy by expecting more than our reasonable best for now. Striving for excellence is a positive quality. Striving for perfection is self-defeating. Did someone tell us or expect us to do or give or be more? Did someone always withhold approval? There comes a time when we feel we have done our best. When that time comes, let it go. There are days when our best is less than we hoped for. Let those times go too. Start over tomorrow. Work things through until our best becomes better. There is a time for constructive criticism, but if that's all we give ourselves, we'll give up. Empowering and complimenting ourselves will not make us lazy. It will nurture us and enable us to give, do, and be our best. Today I will do my best, then let it go. God, help me stop criticizing myself so I can start appreciating how far I've come. I really like this meditation, and it's interesting where my head is going. I'm going in so many different directions in my head. For one thing, I'm going into the direction of what I was talking about when I first started this video, and talking about how I've kind of been taking a break in July and August. And then the second thing I was thinking about was these questions that we were answering in our couples counseling session last night. So we went to our couples counseling session last night, and our therapist had these questions that he's doing with us, and it's all about like improving intimacy and things like that. And if you've heard me talk about the 12 points of intimacy, that was what we did with our last therapist. Boo Radley, have you found your spot yet, bud? So funny. When we were with our last therapist, we talked about the 12 points of intimacy. And so this is a way to, like, there's 50 questions. He like got them online somewhere or whatever, but they're so good and they're so interesting. And so he asked, he was like, who wants to start? And I said Alex, and Alex said me. So I was like, okay, I'll start. So he asked me a question, and then Alex doesn't answer the question too. It's like I answer the question, and the next question Alex answers, and it goes back and forth. And it's really interesting, and they're not questions that you would expect, right? Like, one of the questions that we answered was, what did you learn from your parents' relationship about how you are in relationships today? It's questions like that, right? But one of the questions that I got was, how do you view work life balance, and how has that changed over time? And I was thinking about this, you know, in regards to like the last 6 months and how my work life was prior to 2022. And, you know, I really was so driven. that I was like, okay, I got to put out 4 to 6 videos a day, and I got to do this and I got to do that. And like, if I didn't do that, if I didn't have at least 4 videos a day, I really beat myself up. Like, I don't know that I really even ever talked about that, but like, it just kind of became this thing where I was like driven to like review video, Peterism's video, drama video, vlog. I mean, every single day it was like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, right? And I felt so kind of like driven to it that I don't know that I would call that perfectionism, because that would be implying that those videos were perfection, and I think we know they weren't. But I did feel driven to this opportunity, and part of it was that I felt like you have been given such an amazing opportunity by being able to make videos and have that be your career, that people want to watch them. Like, who are you to not get up and be like, well, I'm not going to make a video today, right? And so there were all of these different things that were kind of like driving that behind me. And then I didn't make videos for a long time. And, you know, when I came back to making videos, it was kind of hard because I wasn't used to getting up every single day and making videos. And what I really had to learn was that there's just going to be some days that I'm just not in it to win it. There's just going to be some days that I don't feel motivated. There's going to be some days that I'm not feeling super creative. There's going to be some days that I just don't want to make a video. You know what I mean? There's going to be some days that I want to do something else, like go to the pool or drive around with my cousin Caroline and go to lunch or whatever. And that's okay, you know? And it has taken me a really long time to get to the point where I can say, and that's okay, you know? And it's not just this, it's like in any work endeavor that I do. You know, when I worked in a treatment program, I had a very hard time saying no to anything that I was asked to do. Like anything that I was asked to do, whether it was a speaking engagement or running, you know, a group or whatever I was asked to do, or sit on some kind of, you know, board or whatever, I would always say yes to. And then later I would feel like so worn out. I'd be like, God, I'm so tired. Like I just feel so extended that I would never say no to anything. And the flip side to that was like, I would say to myself in my head, I'm just going to start saying no to everything. And I remember talking to this woman that I worked with, and she said, you know, save your no's. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, some things that you're asked to do, you're going to want to do. And other things that you're asked to do, you're not going to want to do. Save your no's for those things. And then our supervisor will respect when you say no to something. Not just that you're saying no to say no, but that you really, for this time, you need to, you know, have that time off, or you don't want to do it or whatever. I think today what I've learned is that it's important for me to have a good work-life balance, you know? It's important for me. Back in the day, honest to God, and I don't talk a lot about my drama channel over here, but I will. You know, like Alex and I would be watching a TV show or a movie, and some drama would pop off, and I'd be like, hey babe, like, can you go upstairs for 20 minutes? Like, I gotta pull out the ring light, and I gotta film a video. Like, I would never do that today. I would never do that, you know? And I heard another YouTuber, I was like watching a video that she had done, and she was talking, I thought Boo Radley, well, hello, mister. She was talking about how she didn't really realize like how like ingrained she was into doing YouTube until she was like at a family function and something happened, and she like went into a corner at this party to watch like this video that had been posted because she wanted like, and I was like, oh my God, I've been there, right? And I think that you can like translate that to any, it's not just YouTube, it's any job that you're in, you know, that there are sometimes not to take the calls. If you're at a family dinner, you don't have to take the call. The call will wait, you know? And yes, there are some jobs that the call won't wait, but there are some days that the call will wait. You know what I mean? You don't always have to take the call. And I think it's about learning to set boundaries with yourself. You know, it's like, if you have one of those jobs where it's like, you know, like for example, like with my dad. My dad was on call, I would say 90% of the time that I was growing up, right? And so that really affected my growing up and my life and whatever, because I would either be going to the hospital with him or whatever. But when my dad was off, like when he was not on call and he was off, he was off. Like, it was like, I'm off. There are other doctors that are on call, I'm off, right? And he really set, I think, appropriate boundaries for that. He showed up to all of my school functions, every single school function he showed up to. Every single one, you know? Everything in my life my dad showed up for, and still was able to participate in his, you know, his career fully, you know, to the point where people like highly respected him. And so I think there is a good way to be able to have this life-work balance, you know, and be able to do it. And I think it's just being able to find that within yourself. And I think sometimes also, I think it can be a distraction, you know? I think that, like, work can be a distraction or whatever. Like, I can remember when Alex and I were having a lot of problems, I was going to 6 or 7 meetings a week. And this was when I switched up my meetings. And I had like 3 or 4 service positions. And I can remember calling my sponsor, the one that just passed away. And I said something to him about, you know, like, we're just like, I've never seen him. I'm never spending any time with him. Like, things aren't good and whatever. And my sponsor said to me, just remember, you did not get sober to spend your entire life in a meeting. You got sober to be a better husband, a better son, a better friend, you know, a better everything, you know? Like, remember that. Remember why you got sober. And that was important for me because I think at that time it was like, okay, it was easier to be somewhere else than be here and fight, you know? And then when I started like going to marriage counseling, and then Alex would say like, well, I felt like you know, were never at home. And I was like, well, I need to take a look at that, you know? And that was a big part of it, you know what I mean? And so I think like, with anything, we have to have some kind of balance. I think it's hard. My second sponsor that I ever had, let me tell you why I picked him, okay? I love this man anyway, and he was the husband of one of my very dear friends, and he actually died of a heroin overdose years ago. It broke my heart. And we were sitting in a meeting, and I was about 4 years sober at the time. 2 years sober? No, I think I was 2 years sober at the time. And so the topic was about balance. And when it came to me, I was like, well, I think I do a really good job with balance. Like, I balance out my friends, I balance out my career, I was like, okay, you know that. So it came to him, and he was like, yeah, I have no balance in my life whatsoever. He was like, I wish I did. He was like, I wish I had balance in my life, but I don't. And I think it's so funny because I can remember doing my first 5th step with him, which is like inventory. And my mom had gone to this flowing well to do her 5th step with her sponsor, and like her sponsor gave her this stone that said Serenity on it, and they had like this picnic and like sat on this like, you know, blanket out in the field and everything like that. And my mom had this like real spiritual moment. And so that's what I thought I was gonna have, right? And so I remember we went to his house, and we were like in his basement, and his wife was like upstairs, and the kids, like, I can remember just hearing them like run back and forth the entire time that we were doing this inventory. And she's like yelling down, I'm getting Kentucky Fried Chicken. Do you guys want anything? And I was like, oh my God, this is totally not the spiritual experience that I wanted. But I look back and I'm like, that was so consistent of my life at that time. My life was chaos, you know? And, but anyway, he was such a fantastic man. I loved him so much. All right, let me, I want to read the other meditation really quickly. This is going to be a long meditation today, but I haven't done one for a while. So, August 30th, what would feel good to you? What would feel good to you, Boo Radley? What do you want? What would feel good to you? Ask yourself that question often as you go through your day, as you live your life. When you don't know what to do next, when you're not sure how to find the path that's right for you, ask yourself what you want and what would feel good. That's how you'll discover what's right for you, what energizes you, which friends feel good to be around, what work excites you, infuses you with passion, which hobbies interest you, how do you want to spend your time. We have endured have to long enough. We have pushed ourselves through should too many times. There is a better and different way. Learn to recognize what lifts your spirits. Become conscious of not only what you need, but also what you want and like, what feels right to you. At first, doing what you want and what feels good to you may be uncomfortable, especially if you've spent much of your life doing what doesn't feel good to you. Learn to be comfortable with the new energy. Learn to become comfortable choosing what energizes you. By following your heart, by following your passion, you will find your path and you will find joy. The possibilities for joy are limitless. If we can do what feels good to us in work, in life, in love, in play, learn to become comfortable with joy. You have the power to create joy by choosing what feels good to you. The time for joy isn't later. The time for joy is now. And this is kind of what I was talking about, and I really like this. Okay, my battery died like right after I read the meditation and was getting into it, so I'm just going to start talking about the meditation now. All right. Anyway, I really loved this meditation, and it was a lot about what I was talking about before, and I really like here where it says at the very end, the possibilities for joy are limitless. If we can do what feels good to us in work, in life, in love, in play, learn to become comfortable with joy. You have the power to create joy by choosing what feels good to you. The time for joy isn't later. The time for joy is now. And I think that that's a decision that we have to make. You know, we have a decision to make every single day. Are you going to be happy, joyous, and free, or are you going to be miserable, you know? And I think that that is something that I have had to learn in my life, you know, is that I have a choice when I wake up. Now, I think that there are going to be days of great sadness, and there are going to be days of, you know, great tragedy. And those are days that I think that we have a right to feel that way. But just to be borrowing trouble on a daily basis over menial things, you know, that just, I don't know, I can't even think of examples right now, but just like the most minuscule things that are gonna just throw us into misery, and then we're gonna stay in misery, and we're gonna be like biting the heads off of everybody else. Why would we not want to choose joy, you know? We're here but for a glimpse anyway, and we're, you know, our life is very short, it's very fragile, and we should be loving each and every moment of it and choosing joy for each of those moments. So let me know what you think about those meditations in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.